واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله يا ايها الذين امنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن الا وانتم مسلمون يا ايها الذين امنوا قولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم اعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewers, alhamdulillah, today we are here again with another episode of Islam in modern time, and as we discussed last time that we're going to have this program in alternatively, one in Urdu and one in English. However, the feedback that I received was basically there was a lot more emphasis on the English language actually. So since we did some programs in the past which were predominantly in Urdu, we decided to do another program in English, and then we will actually convert it twice a week, one in Urdu and one in English. But honestly speaking, the feedback from the audience that I received, a lot of people want to hear this program in English because of the fact that the children would like to get engaged, the youngsters would like to get engaged, and probably for them it is more convenient to understand if we use this platform as an English program. So today we are here again, inshallah. One of the objectives that I would like to discuss with you all, that it is something that we all need to learn our deen actually, including myself. This is not something that I'm sharing with you, which is the last word. I think the request to all of you is to trigger your thought process with that, get involved, understand, seek, and this is what our deen is. Because a lot of people, when you talk to them, they say, there are so many different versions actually when we go and talk to different people, and everybody would say this is something that you need to follow and this is something that you shouldn't be following. And sometimes people get confused. They don't know where to go, what to do. And I understand, because the mass majority of the people who actually practice Islam are the people, they are actually following someone without knowing. And I think that's a very, very critical point. I mean, Islam and our deen is something that we need to understand before we follow someone. Because God forbid, if I'm practicing something other than what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded me, then I'm actually doing something which can basically end up in very serious consequences. Because like any other thing that I do in this world, this becomes my duty, and this becomes my objective to go seek and understand. And this is what I'm telling you. I, being a student of Quran, I would invite you all to learn Quran. I would like to be rather more happy staying a student and seeking. But what I can do for you is that I can actually bring you to a point, rather than, because life is too short, and sometimes we don't get time to go deep inside the folds and understand. But what we can do here in this platform is to sit down together, and to sit down and understand what my deen is, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants me to do, what is the purpose of life, who is my creator, why my creator is important, because why my creator is important, and then why should I be following him? Do I need someone to follow in these modern days when there's so much of scientific and technological revolutions that we see around us? I mean, there's some very critical questions. So I think we need to understand that the most important thing is to understand. So let's start with something that, who is my creator? And what does that Creator want me to do, and how can I define my purpose of life? Because nothing in this world is purposeless. Everything that we see and we witness within the creation has a purpose. We do not find anything which is purposeless. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He kept Himself unseen, He kept Himself beyond any, beyond the vision that no one can see Him actually in this dunya. So that is one of the reasons that I must understand Him the way He wants to tell me. And He tells me in Quran that أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنِ, because the biggest guidance that I have and you have is the Kitab Allah. The Kitab Allah is the biggest guidance, which most of the time we just recite and we move on. Most of the time we just actually read it for barakah and khair. Alhamdulillah, definitely there's a recitation of Quran is khair and barakah. However, the purpose of Quran is to understand and to ponder and to establish that objective, that who is my Creator. So when I ask my Creator, He answered, Huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illahu. He said, He is someone who in His existence, He is someone that, He exists. However, His existence is beyond my understanding. And that's why He says, Laysa lahu kamisli. There cannot be any example that we can say that this is who He is. However, through His creation, that when we look at the creation, when we look at the creation that He has created, we definitely see someone who has done this thing. Because nothing happens itself. No matter what we do, even the smallest invention, the smallest project, the things that we do, it's not possible to have any invention without the inventor. So this becomes a very naive idea that the world is something that basically came into an existence without any intervention, without a creation. I can simply do away, because God forbid, if I don't want to believe in God and I want to create a reason that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's something, the dunya, we believe that dunya has been created, the entire universe has been created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there are people who tell you that this is an accident. And I would like to ask those people, have you ever seen such perfect accidents where you see the skies on your head? Have you ever seen such an accident? Have you ever seen the flowing rivers? Have you ever seen the other things? And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us when He introduces Himself, He tells us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is someone who has brought the entire creation into existence. And this is not difficult for Him. The creation that He has created is not difficult. أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. Now He's talking to those people and telling them, have you seen the creation of that camel that runs on the desert, and every limb that the camel has is tilted. However, that's the fastest ever running thing on the desert, and even other than that. He calls it as a sort of a miracle. أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. Don't you realize how I have created the camel? And then he asks her, أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ وَإِلَى السَّمَاءِ كَيْفَ رُفِعَتْ. And the sky that you see on top of yourself, the sky that you see, and that is beyond your reach, and now through the technology you can say there is a sky and then there is another sky, and no matter how far you go into it, you will keep finding one and the other sky, and the sky becomes the limit. They say, إِلَى السَّمَاءِ كَيْفَ رُفِعَتْ. Don't you see how I made that sky on top of you? وَإِلَى الْجِبَالِ كَيْفَ نُصِبَتْ. And don't you see these high mountains and peaks and hills? وَإِلَى الْجِبَالِ كَيْفَ نُصِبَتْ. How they have been nailed into the ground. Now He is not telling you and me to simply just believe in something. He is instigating that thought process. He is telling you and me to think and seek and try to go and explore, and you will find Him. Even through your own wisdom, even through your own senses, your intellect would tell you there is someone who has done it. And He continues on. أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبَلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ وَإِلَى السَّمَاءِ كَيْفَ رُفِعَتْ وَإِلَى الْجِبَالِ كَيْفَ نُصِبَتْ وَإِلَى الْأَرْضِ كَيْفَ سُطِحَتْ. And don't you see this landscape that you see? You just have a look at the landscape. You see the green landscape, you see the waters, you see the deserts, you see the hills and mountains. Who could have done it? Who could have done it? This miraculous creation is created by someone. And this is what He tells us in Quran, that you have to identify your Creator. Because if you cannot identify your Creator, you can never have a purpose of life. And your life is not purposeless. Your life in this dunya is not purposeless. And the purpose of life would never come, would never be known unless and until I know my Creator. And that is the reason that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells me that you have to know the Creator, because in order to live in this dunya, you have to also know that what exactly is purpose of your life. أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا. Do you think that you have been created for sake of it? For no objective, for just basically for heck of it. Your creation is for the sake of it. أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ. And you will not come back to me? This is what you think? That your creation was something that happened for nothing, and you're not going to come back to me? And this is what the whole thing goes hand in hand. My Creator and the purpose of my life. And trust me, once I identify my Creator, I actually understand the purpose of my life. And honestly speaking, this would not matter to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because He in His bigness and in His greatness is so big that irrespective if if the entire creation, they start believing in Him and they start worshipping Him, it will not raise any benchmark of His greatness. He is that great. And God forbid if everybody rejects Him, it would not affect His greatness even a single smallest, lowest in terms of greatness. Nothing would affect His greatness. So dear sisters and brothers and friends and viewers, I know this is a program that I would like to discuss and share and talk to you all. Because end of the day, we have this message. We have Quran. We are the custodians of this book. And this book actually, I need to learn it. I need to understand, because end of the day, the life would be short and one day it's going to be over. And once it's over, then I wouldn't and you wouldn't have time. So it is the time. Now is the time. It is either now or it's never. Because then if I keep on, if I keep on postponing this thing, that okay, I still have time, I will learn, it will actually affect the understanding of Quran. I need to understand, because there are things with regards to the creation, there are things about the Creator Himself. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised me, He says, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ. He says, سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ. I show you my presence very soon in these horizons, in these galaxies that you see and explore. I show you my presence. And my signs you will see in that. سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. And you will see my signs inside yourself. And this is where you would know that there is a Creator actually. You may call Him God, you may call Him Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we call Him Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the concept of God, that's why the concept of God exists. That's why the people say that mostly the monotheistic believers, they say that there is one God. But there are others, they also say there is a God. And even those who so-called are supposed to be the atheists, they say there is no God. God forbid, even if they go into a denial, God is such a strong entity, Allah is such a strong entity, that even if you go to the dictionary and find out what does it mean by atheist, and the atheists mean that one who does not believe in God. So even imagine how powerful is the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that even in order to deny Him, you bring His name in order to say that I do not believe in God. Allahu Akbar. This is how powerful He is in His existence. This is how great He is in His existence. Wallahu alladhi la ilaha illahu alimul ghaybi wash shahada huwa ar-rahmanur rahim huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illahu al-malikul قدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. Allahu Akbar. His introduction, he said, look at that, I have created this entire universe. He says that I am the one who is the owner of this kingdom. The creation and creation over and above creation that you see. He said, I am the one. قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ. He said, tell your prophet to the humanity, قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ. He is the one who is the real owner of the entire universe. تُؤْتِ الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ. Whoever He wishes gives the command, and gives the mulk, and gives the kingdom. تُؤْتِ الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتَنْزِعُ الْمُلْكَ مِمَّنْ تَشَاءُ. And whoever He takes away from, He takes away that kingdom from those. And then He says, وَتُعِزُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ. He is the one who gives the honor. وَتُزِلُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ. He is the one who brings the people to the disgrace. بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرِ. And everything belongs to, the khair belongs to Him. Dear sisters and brothers, we need to understand these hidden things that we have in Quran, the treasures of Quran. And once you peep, when we seek the Creator in Quran, you see that there is only one Creator, and you call Him Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to learn it, because by instigating and triggering this thought process, and this is what He does, by challenging us most of the time. Ya ma'ashar al-jinn wal-ins. Now He's talking to the entire jinn folk and the human being. Ya ma'ashar al-jinn wal-ins in istata'tum an tanfuzu min aqtar as-samawati wal-ard. Do you have the ability and the capacity to go beyond the horizon? Fanfuzu, try. The more that you move in, the more you explore, the more you go, you will end up into another world. And imagine that, in today's scientific world, we talk about God, but trust me, we do not even know about His creation. His creation is so big, because He is the Lord. He is the Malikul Mulk. He is the real owner of this universe. So His universe is also so big and great that anybody wants to explore this universe, they get into a situation where they really do not understand how the whole thing works. So dear sisters and brothers, we are lucky we have this information, because let's say if alone with the wisdom, if I had to try, if even I had to try Him in order to seek Him and explore Him and know Him, I probably would have known Him, because every creation that I see around me, I said there is a Creator. And that is the reason that it is sanurihim ayatina fil afaq. I show you my existence and my signs in these horizons and in these galaxies. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us. وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ, and in your inner self, حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَكُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقِّ, until you reach the truth. Because once you unleash your thought process, you would eventually come up by saying that there is someone who has created this. That great creator, and that great creator is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who was not seen. The eyes cannot see him, because this is what sometimes people say. I hear, we are so intelligent people that now we live. Why don't we, the wisdom itself can understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. Now this is a very common question that I get to hear. And I think most of the time when you sit, especially when you sit with youngsters or people who, God forbid, they do not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will come up with such questions. That wisdom is such a smart thing. And I'm a modern man or I'm a modern woman, and how can why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be understood through wisdom? And I always tell them one thing. I had the chance to see some students, last year, and some of the students actually, they asked me this question. They asked me why the wisdom cannot understand Allah himself. So my question was very simple. I said, how smart is your wisdom? Before you actually would like to, because this is the equipment that you're talking about. You said that the equipment that you have to know Allah is the wisdom, and you live in a modern time, so you must know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through this wisdom. So I asked him, how competent is your wisdom? Question, how competent is the wisdom that we are so proud of? The human, what I'm talking about, the wisdom that we feel is something can explore anything, and even whatever scientific, inventions we have done, we believe that this is due to the wisdom. But I would ask something, that how smart is wisdom? Is it competent enough to understand? So I asked those questions. One of the questions that I asked them, I said, what if you were raised on just milk and porridge? I mean, anybody. This is a challenge to everyone. If I'm raised just on milk and porridge throughout my life, and everything else was normal, I was going to school, I was going to college, I was getting all the qualification, everything was normal, except the fact that I did not taste anything other than the milk and porridge in my entire life. You just say milk or something, which cannot distinguish the other taste. Now, let's say if I'm a grown-up man after 20, 30, 25 years, and somebody asks me that, do you know how would an apple taste? How would a mango taste? And then I try that, okay, let's try to understand through my wisdom, no matter how much pressure that I put on my wisdom. I would never know the taste of a small creation like an apple, or like any other fruit, or like, for example, chili. Because that, I never experienced, my taste buds never experience that small creation. My wisdom would not answer me. If I bring an analysis that what is the scientific analysis for those fruits and those eatables, my wisdom still would not understand. But the only time I would like to understand that taste, I pick up a bite and I taste. And in that moment I would know this is how exactly it tastes. Allahu Akbar. This is what tells me that my wisdom depends on the other things. It depends on the other senses. If the other senses are in place and they are actually They're effectively working, and they are being actually, they're simultaneously working with the wisdom. Only then my wisdom can understand. So imagine the wisdom alone cannot understand the small taste of a creation. A wisdom alone cannot understand, doesn't matter what scientific analysis I go through without tasting. Doesn't matter how well I actually, I can present the taste of that particular fruit or anything that I'm talking about. The wisdom alone would not understand. Wisdom alone is not competent enough to understand even the small creation. How do you say that the wisdom alone should know the Creator? But if you want wisdom to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have to unleash this wisdom and let the wisdom explore and experience and pass through the folds of the galaxies and know there is a Creator. And this, once it comes back and you look into your own creation, you say that there is a Creator. And every time you move from one inch to another, you say there is a Creator. Allahu Akbar. This is who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. If you and I want to know Him, we have to know Him through His creation. That look at that, and this is what He says. وَالَّذِي خَلَقَ سَبْعَ سَمَاوَاتٍ طِبَاقًا. On your head He created one sky and another sky over it. سَبْعَ سَمَاوَاتٍ طِبَاقًا. They're one and another, and then another, and the 7 skies that He's talking about. هل ترى من فطور. Do you see any problem in these creations? Allahu Akbar. هل ترى من فطور. Do you see anything that there is a flaw in my creation that I've created? Allahu Akbar. هل ترى من فطور. فارجع البصر. He tells you and me, فارجع البصر. Look at the creation. Rise. فارجع البصر. Raise your eyes. And it says that it will come back while trying to find a flaw in His creation. The basar, the sight, will come back. And how would that come back? Farji al-basar, hal tara min futur. So marji, it says it will come back khasi'an wa huwa hasir. It will become, the eyesight will come back as a loser by not finding any flaw in the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But not finding a single thing that is a shortcoming. Allahu Akbar. That big Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. This is how big He is. And this is what He wants to tell us. And this is what He wants to teach us. That I don't want to push you, but you need to know that you are in this dunya with a purpose. And the biggest purpose of life is to know your Creator. Because without even knowing your Creator, you would never ever be on the right path. You will never able to make the right resolution of life. You will be never in a position to pick up a right path and walk. You will never ever set a target, because my inner self is the constitution of the angelic characteristics, and my inner self is also the animal instincts. So the angelic characteristics and the animal instincts are being put together. And if I do not set myself a goal, an objective, and I keep my Creator that He is there all the time, and He is keeping a watch on me, He's keeping a watch over me, He is the one who sent me to this dunya, and He is the one I'm going to go back. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. He sent me to this dunya, and I'm going to go back to Him. He gave me a purpose. أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَسًا. You're not being created with purposeless. He tells me that I'm your Rabb, and He tells me that هُوَ اللَّهُ الَّذِي لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ. He is the one who is the real Creator. He is the one who has created this universe. He is the one in the total control. He is the one in the total power. He is the one who has all the things under His capacity. Nothing is beyond His ability. Nothing is beyond His capacity. Allahu Akbar. I am a tiny speck that lives in the entire creation. I am as small as probably the creation. And I live with my flaws. I live with my shortcomings. I live with my weaknesses. I need that powerful creator, because not just the physical world, I also need him emotionally. I need him. It is not that he wants me to basically, he gets something if I accepting in him, or if I believing him in, he gets something out of that. No, he is beyond. He is Samad. Allahu Samad. He does not need me. He does not need my worships. But I need him, because I'm emotionally dependent. I'm physically dependent. And I have a journey ahead of me. I'm a traveler. And I've been traveling from the time of the spiritual world, when I used to exist as a spirit. And from that spiritual world, I came to the belly of my mother. And then from there, I live today in the belly of this dunya, in this world. And from here, I'm going to go into the belly of my grave. And from the belly of grave, I'm going to go back to my Creator again, where there the real world exists. And this is why it is important. It is inevitable, I would say. It's not simply, the word important is not just enough. It is inevitable that I live 50, 40, whatever number of years that I spend on this face of the earth, and I go back without even recognizing him. I go back without even knowing him. I go back without even understanding him. And when I go back to him, I say, Ya Allah, I don't even know. Yeah, I spend time in the world. I lived there. I had my own thing that I did. I was busy with other stuff, but I never had the chance to know you, Ya Rabb. How would that sound? How would that look? I'm not saying to be perfect. We can never be perfect people. Never rely on the people, because on anyone. This is what I'm saying. Be that person yourself. Because each and every one has their own tests. Each and every one has some flaws, some shortcomings. So do not rely your the image of your creation on the individuals, on the people, because people can collapse. They can fall apart. They can shatter. They can go wrong. Believe in your Creator. Build that connection with your Creator. Have your own connection with your Creator. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَإِذَا سَالَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَعِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. When my people ask you about me, tell them I'm very close to them. إِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. I listen and I fulfill whatever they ask me. So he said, I'm very close. And in another place, Quran says, نَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبَلِ الْوَرِيدِ. I'm even closer to my creation, closer than their juggling vein. Allahu Akbar. How close he is. You don't have to, and I don't have to go and find him in the places where, we sometimes feel that we don't know where we can find Allah. Allah is right here. Allah is right here inside you. And this is the beauty, that the understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because obviously He is over and above everything. He is over and above His creation. But He has given this understanding to us, that if I would like to seek Him, I can see Him inside me, because you can see Him through His creation. He is not the creation, He is a creator. But His creation is also so perfect that by looking at the creation, you can identify Him and I can know Him. Trust me, this is something that you and we need. Because without even knowing, how would we define a purpose? And beyond the purpose, there is going to be a time that when I'm going to need Him. When I need Him emotionally. When we see how many things we considered that those things were, but they belong to us. When I look into my own past, my childhood has gone. That was my childhood. It no longer exists. Then I was considered to be youth. That period is also gone. That power, the energy, the reflections, everything is gone somewhere in the thin air. People would say someone was so beautiful, the beauty is gone. Somebody would say that he was powerful, the power is gone. So the things that the so-called things, those are part of my existence, are actually not, they do not belong to me. So-called things that I say, this is my existence. I'm no longer the same person I used to be 20 years ago. Allahu Akbar. How can I claim that this wealth belongs to me, and this position belongs to me, and this status belongs to me, and this is who I am? How can I even dare say that? How dare I? When my personal things are not in my control, when my ability and capacity fails over the time period, and then eventually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala khalaqna al-insana da'ifa, I created the human beings from weaknesses. And these weaknesses will eventually one day will prevail, and I'll need him. I'll need Allah to hold my hand, because we know that doesn't matter how much our children love us. At one time, not because they don't like us, but they have their own challenges. They got their own life to follow. They will move on. The health that we claim that this is something part of us, one day the health will say goodbye to us. So whom we should look up to? This is where I need, where my money doesn't work, my status, my position, my children, nothing works for me except the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that His concept, His existence is going to be light in the darkness. It's going to be the strength in my weakest times. Because God forbid, who do not believe in anything, they live a hopeless life. Imagine somebody simply denying the fact that Allah subhanahu, because this is all he can think or she can think, that there is no one exists like that. But imagine what a hopeless life is that. That once I'm done with this life, in this dunya, once I'm done with this life, and then there's nothing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says there is a life ahead. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is a real life ahead of it. So if the first thing that takes away from me is that hopelessness, He does not want me to be hopeless. He takes away that hopelessness. He tells me, no, there is a hope. Because it is just something that you are living for a short while. And this is what the Adam alayhi salam was told when he was sent in this dunya. فَإِمَّا يَأْتِيَنَّكُم مِّنِّي هُدًى فَمَنْ تَبِعَ هُدَايَ فَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. I am sending you to the earth. I'm sending you to this planet earth, where you're going to live. فِيهِ مُسْتَقَرٌّ وَمَتَاعًا إِلَى حِينٍ, where you be spending a short span of time. And إِمَّا يَأْتِيَنَّكُم مِّنِّي هُدًى, if you ever receive instructions from me, فَمَنْ تَبِعَ هُدَايَ, whoever follows the instructions of Allah, لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ, I will take away all the sadness from their heart and all the fear from their hearts. Allahu Akbar. May Allah make us those who do not have any other fear and any other sadness. May Allah make us those. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He gives that contentment, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ, He said that the biggest satisfaction will only come to your heart by zikrullah, by the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why He wants us to know Him. Because He wants our hearts to be contented. He wants our hearts to be satisfied. And when you rely on Him, then you are relying all together. You actually rely on someone who never falls apart, and who never goes away, who never leaves you alone. And this is what we read in the Ayatul Kursi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. He is the one that you can rely on Him, because He is hayy, He is ever living. Qayyum, He is ever, He never falls apart. Nothing shatters Him down. He's Qayyum. He is the one in control, in the total power. And what do we say? Allah. And that Ayatul Kursi is the writ of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is the writ of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It determines who He is, and how great He is, and how powerful He is. And if you have to rely on someone who is Allah. And there cannot be anyone other than him. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you have to rely, Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayy, then he should be alive forever. He should be ever living. Qayyum, he should be always in the total control. La ta'khuzuhu sinatun wa la nawm. He should never fall to sleep. He should never get drowsy, because you are relying. What in the moments when I and you are looking for someone, looking for the one who is always there, it can only be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He is the only one. Because everybody else, kullu nafsin za'ikatul maut, every else would taste the taste of death at one point of time. So there's only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has these characteristics, who has this credential, who has this greatness, that He says He is the one who is always alive. He is the one always in all control. He is the one who would never ever fall to sleep. He would never get drowsy. لا تأخذ سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض. And He has the power, and He has that kingdom under His control. And this kingdom is not just a place, a geographical location. This kingdom is beyond your imagination. That the seventh sky that whether you can reach or you cannot reach, His kingdom is beyond that. له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم. And He is the one in the total control. He exactly knows what you are passing through, what exactly happened in your past, what exactly going to happen in the future if you take a path. Imagine you holding on to Him. That's why we need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not something that 14 centuries before somebody came to us and said there is a God, and that's the only God, and He is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need Him today. We need Him. We needed Him in the past. We need Him today, and we will always need Him. We will always need Him, because my entire emotional equilibrium, my physical equilibrium, it depends on Him, because He is the one who created me in the first place. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Dear sisters and brothers, please, this is not something that if I do, people will be calling me, oh, this is some religious guy. It is not about being religious, or it's not about being spiritual. This is about knowing your Creator and my Creator. This is how I need Him. Because the time will come once, no matter what, when this system collapses, when there's something has gone wrong in the creation of our existence, trust me, nobody else matters. No one else matters except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Doesn't matter what religion I follow or I don't follow, or if I look up to someone or I don't look up to someone, but I feel there is someone. You call Him Mother Nature, you call Him God, you call Him Elohim, we call Him Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the perfect one, the one who is the real Creator, and who created you and me, and who reminded us. He said, this is what I'm telling you. Ya ayyuhal insan. Ya ayyuhal insan. He's talking to you and me. He said, Ya ayyuhal insan. You and me. Ma gharraka bi rabbikal kareem. What is that thing that is taking you away from your Lord, from your Allah? Huwa alladhi khalaqaka. He is the one who created you in the first place. Your actual creation. Look at this complex creation that you have. The coordination that you have in this creation, the thought process that you and we have in this creation, and how smart and intelligent is this creation. And He says, هُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَكَ. He is the one who created you. فَعَدَلَكَ. He is the one. He is the one who assembled you. فَسَوَّاكَ. He was the one who assembled you. فَعَدَلَكَ. And gave you a balance. Look at what if the body was unbalanced. Look if there were no coordination between the legs. There was no coordination between the hand. There was no coordination between the eyes. There was no coordination between the internal organs. فَأَعْدَلَكَ. I put you onto a balance. Allahu Akbar. فَسَوَّاكَ, I created you, and then I assembled you, and I put you under a balance. بِأَيِّ سُورَةٍ مَا شَاءَ رَكَّبَكَ, and then I gave you your branded face. I never asked you to go and find that you should have basically some mark. There were 1,000 similar people, and they should go and have their identification. Each one of you, I gave you your branded face. And that is something that you are distinguished. You are identified. People look at you and they know you who you are. I gave you your identity for you. Allahu Akbar. Look at how loving that Lord is. How loving that Allah is. How much, irrespective, I don't obey Him. God forbid. I don't listen to Him. I want to do whatever that I want to do. He keeps on providing me. He keeps on providing me. Imagine, He gives me a chance. Every day He shows me the sun that He created. That sun rises every day, and I start my day without even knowing the creator of the sun and the one who created me, and I forget Him. He still loves me. Every day that I have certain tasks and I go around, He gives me a chance to come back to Him. Because this is what He knows, that I would never have a contented heart. I would never ever have a satisfied heart. No matter what I do, if I do not recognize my Creator, if I do not know my Creator, I would never be satisfied. I'd probably be living. And then there are going to be times in life, the times that I wouldn't be able to actually, even myself, I wouldn't be in a position to face some challenges. And everyone, nobody can say that. Life is full of challenges. Every day there are different challenges, but sometimes the challenges are so strong that the people that you love the most, that the most beloved ones, at times they leave you in one way or the other. God forbid, they will either leave this dunya, or they will actually they go out of your life and they live their lives. And imagine on whom I would rely if I do not have that, if I haven't established that connection with my Creator. Whom would I ever rely? This connection is for you and this connection is for me. It is not for Him. We think that probably He's someone, He just wants everyone to listen to. It's not that. Try to understand. He is giving and showing me the path. And this is for me. Because He knows my creation from inside, upside down, and inside out. He knows me, that there is going to be some weak times. There will be a time when things get shattered. There is going to be a time when people lose control. There's going to be a time when you look for someone and there's no one else other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He Himself. You and Himself, because you are His creation. This is between you and Him. Forget about everybody else. This is your Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is you. It's me and my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you. And that's why I'm telling you why it is important to have that connection established with Him, and see how inshallah things will come into your life which will bring khair. Doesn't matter what circumstances are, doesn't matter what situation is, doesn't matter whether I'm walking with the heavy feet or I'm flying. I will have a contented heart, because I would know my Allah is with me. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ وَيَجْعَلَكُمْ خُلَفَاءَ الْأَرْضِ أَإِلَهٌ مَعَ اللَّهِ قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. He said, who is the one who listens to the call of a broken heart? Allah. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ. When that heart calls upon Him, who is the one He asks? Who listens to the call, that when the broken heart calls upon. Dear sisters, may I take this call? There's a call, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm watching this program. I don't know the name of the person who's talking right now.
Brother, my name is Mazhar Ayub.
Mazhar Ayub.
That's right.
So is this a live right now or recorded?
It's a live program, brother.
Okay, your name is Mazhar. Okay.
That's right.
Okay, thank you. Because it was not appearing, that's why I called.
I would check it definitely. I'll definitely check and I'll convey your message to the
Yeah, because for last 20 minutes.
Okay, no problem. But inshallah, what I believe, name is not important. The message is important actually. If this message...
It is showing now. It is showing now.
Inshallah.
Good thing.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, thank you.
Jazak. What's your name, brother? I did not get your name.
Yeah, Khalid Hafiz.
MashaAllah, Khalid Hafiz, brother. Jazakallah.
Program is very good.
Allah barak lak, brother, inshallah. Pray for us, inshallah. May Allah give you ajr azim. Jazakallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah.
Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammadin wa barik wa sallim. So dear sisters and brothers, I think the program got a little emotional. Obviously, when you talk about your creator, we need to understand him. He is not simply, a virtual God. Let's come out of that. He is a reality. He is the biggest reality that ever existed. The biggest reality that ever existed on the face of earth. And that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Know him and recognize him and acknowledge what he has done for you and me, and come out of this rat race of making firqas and sects and this. Trust me, once you get yourself connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all those things will become small for you, because nothing is going to be important for you. All you would see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and your Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Khatim al-Nabiyyin, who showed you that way, who came to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sent him to this dunya to show the humanity the way and the path, and he showed us. He did it kama haqqahu. He did it kama haqqahu. Allahu Akbar. Imagine he did it kama haqqa when he was the last one. All the prophecies became him. He was the last one to witness Allah. And he brought us this message. And this was at the cost of his well-being. Everything that he had, he sacrificed. He wanted us to be connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He showed this is who your Rabb is. I'm a mediator between you and him. And I'm the last and the final messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you better make sure that you know him. It is not about being, something that we understood 14 centuries ago. You and me even need Allah now. We need him every breath that we take, that we need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every step that we take on the face of earth, we need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Please stop. Don't waste your life and time in thinking in building the divisions in Islam and division in the humanity. Don't get into that. Life is too short. Be a seeker, be a student. It doesn't matter who am I. I trust you, it doesn't matter. But what matters is how much do I know my Allah? Because I, being a human being, I have a tendency to go wrong. I have a tendency to develop flaws. I have a tendency to have shortcomings in my life. Dear sisters and brothers, please, please. I'm reminding you, first I'm reminding myself, because I'm equally weak. Because my challenges are also there. Similarly, like yours. We all have challenges. We don't know what our journey is all about. But if I miss my Creator in this journey, trust me, I've lost everything that I had. If I miss my Creator by knowing him, I have lost everything that's so-called that I have earned in this dunya. Whether that was an education, or that was a career, or that was something of wealth, or you may call it anything. Dear sisters and brothers, try to stick to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And do not be divided. Trust me, these people have shops. They promote this thing as shops. Don't get it, because you will get so confused and it will take you away from the Creator. Eventually you will be so disheartened that you will be the seeker in the beginning, and then you will be a confused person standing in the middle of nowhere, not knowing where to go. Whom should I go and ask? That's why I'm telling you, hold on to the rope of Allah. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullah. Be the one who is conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَاعْتَسِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Hold on to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in hadith, it promises that if this is the rope, that the one corner that you hold in your hand, the second corner in the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine that the rope that you're holding on to, the second corner of that rope is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dear sisters and brothers, try to understand this. This is an important resolution of life. Because if I leave this dunya without my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knowing Him, trust me, I'm not carrying anything with me. I'm not carrying anything, because that wealth that I considered was mine went down the pipe. It was distributed to the others. The families that I always thought that they are the most beloved ones are now, they're gone on their own journeys. And I stand alone. And tahtu turab, under the soil, I'm the only one with my Creator left. So practice it now, that I know Him and I rely upon Him. And I know that this is my Creator, is that when I start falling apart, I am holding on to Him, and to Him only. Because He is the one who is in total control, who will never ever leave us alone. And this is what He tells us, that never ever be hopeless of the endless mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With this ayah, I will inshallah conclude this program. And I tell you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَصْرَفُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا وَإِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. Prophet, tell those who have gone dramatically wrong in their lives. He's not talking about the normal people. He's telling Prophet that go those who have gone beyond the limits in disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La taqnatu min rahmatillah. Never ever be hopeless with the endless mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, Inna Allah yaghfiru dhunuba jamia. He will forgive all your sins. Wa innahu huwal ghafurur rahim. And He is the one who has the ability and the character to forgive sins. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala connect us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah guide us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah guide our children to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide the entire humanity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring peace to the entire humanity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the faith that before we leave this dunya, we actually know our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, the Khatim al-Nabiyyin. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you.